This is Ryloth Leku from the Hall, and you're listening to the Escape Pod cast. This show was recorded in front of a live studio audience.
One is a Grand Arena specialist from the UK. The other is a territory battle tactician from the US. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. With both having played this game since launch, the one thing we are sure of is that you will be entertained. The CFH Network presents the Escape Pod Cast, a service of the Escape Pod Castaways. A weekly podcast about the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Neil Andrew Eyre and Paul Anthony.
Coming up on this week's edition of the Escape Pod Cast. It's over, Nev. I have the high ground. Or rather, I have the advantage buff. The calendar has been released and some are not happy. Some people found an exploit and CG slammed the door shut quickly. Grand Arena Championships rewards are good. For some. Who doesn't like them so much? Segment 2 has that answer. Zylo Takedown joins the Kanji Klub, the 1K Club. And we return live in the fourth segment with another Top 10. Will there be more fireworks? All this and breaking news if it happens right here on this week's edition of the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast News.
And welcome into this week's edition of the Escape Pod Cast with me, your host, Neil Eyre, and as always, alongside me, Paul Anthony. Paul, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, Nev. It's a pleasure to be able to get on after, we actually got some news this week.
I know. It's all happening this week, isn't it?
It really is. We did start off the intro by talking about advantage. So I'm going to give you the advantage of becoming, if you will, the forums for the blind and explaining the advantage change.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, to be perfectly honest with you. Obviously, one of the issues with advantage was, I think the main gripe was when a character had advantage, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't get through foresight. And obviously, that's something that they're changing to the game, which is going to, when you think about it, make First Order pretty damn OP, because we all know that they get loaded up with advantage. But I also think that it's going to be advantageous to another faction, and that is the Jedi, because one of the beautiful characters in this game that has a wonderful ability of stealing buffs is Yoda. Yeah. Can you imagine what a Jedi faction would be like with Yoda? Stealing advantage and spreading that lovely buff amongst a bunch of Jedi.
Well, and here's the thing. So advantage, I'll go ahead and pull it up here. The way that it currently worked, if you have advantage and they have critical hit immunity, advantage would not trigger. If you had advantage and they had foresight, advantage ended up going away. And if they had both critical hit immunity and foresight, it still got consumed because of the foresight, because it didn't matter whether or not they critically hit. What happened was that it offered the opportunity for the critical hit. So what they've done is they've made it so advantage will not be consumed unless you actually land a critical hit. So if you've got somebody that has critical hit immunity, you're never going to get rid of advantage. And foresight...
Yeah, it'll stay there, won't it? Exactly.
Yeah, and foresight no longer makes advantage go away. If you're forced to attack a person with foresight, it's not going to steal advantage from you. If you have a second attack, it will critically hit unless they have that critical hit immunity.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely going to be welcome. It's definitely going to be a welcome change, because most people tend to just throw the First Order on defense You look at you go into any territory war, and most people have dumped that. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of dumping my first order in defense in in GAC and in territory wars. But with the ability of not losing it. It could make them quite a powerful force, and like I said, with Yoda having the ability to steal it and then spread it, having advantage on a team of OP Jedi, just staying there until critical hit immunity disappears or until the foresight disappears, and then getting it off. Especially with relics, it's going to be interesting for theory crafters. I definitely think it's going to be interesting for theory crafters.
Oh, gee, and isn't that interesting? Just last week, you were telling me how critical chance doesn't matter with Greedo. I just needed to point that out last week, Nev.
Well, yeah, but this is all right, fine. I'll concede that point.
Thank you. Thank you.
But if that list stood on its own last week, it's not my fault that they're changing something in the game that negates one of my top 10.
It was more like your bottom 10, remember?
That's a good point. Actually, yes, it was. It was my bottom 10, not my top 10. My bottom 10.
Exactly.
Well, you've got homework for segment 4, so just make sure you do it. Just make sure you do your homework, because I did my homework last week.
Well, what are you talking about? What are you? What
I'm talking about? It's your turn. It is your turn to do a 10.
Okay.
And your homework for the live segment of the show is QOL. 10 quality of lives that you'd like to see in the game that still have not been brought in.
Oh,
so that's your homework.
That's second nature to me, buddy. That's not going to be a problem. I think you're going to agree to every single one.
I find that very, very hard to believe, but it might happen. It might happen. Pigs might fly.
Yeah, you are English, so you do love your Pink Floyd. So.
Yes, we do love it. We do love our Pink Floyd. Yes, we do.
So one of the other things that came out this week, Nev, was the fact that they released the October event calendar. Now, one thing that slightly upset me is that they don't have Ghosts of Dathomir on Halloween.
You know what? That you'd think that would be an obvious choice for Halloween. Yeah, that would be an obvious choice for Halloween. I wonder why it's not there.
Ghosts of Dathomir.
I mean, come on. They could have put that in.
They could have. And Ghosts of Dathomir will show up on the 26th. And Defense of Dathomir will be almost an entirely 2 weeks early. It's almost like they're putting up Christmas decorations with how early Defense of Dathomir is. They're putting it up on the 17th. So we do, of course, get it during October, Defense of Dathomir. We also get Endor Escalation during this time. But
I do love me some Murder Bear action.
I love putting the Geos in against that ATST. I love watching that battle. But nonetheless, it's the fact that they didn't put the Night Sisters on Halloween like they should have been. But, Neil, there was a bigger outrage that came from all of this, and it's not the fact that the daily login character for October is Poggle the Lesser. It's that halfway through the month, on the 17th, we're going to get another chance at Darth Revan. That's not too shabby, right? I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Legend of the Old Republic. Wouldn't that be...
That's Jedi Knight Revan. I was about to say, what are you talking about? Scourge of the Republic. That's Darth Revan.
So we get another chance at Jedi Knight Revan on the 17th. But can you read to me, I submit to you, evidence A. What is the next day?
The next day would be the 18th.
And what is slated on that line right under Legend of the Old Republic. What is the title of this event?
I do believe it's Starforge Showdown.
Isn't that an epic confrontation that took
That
almost
would be that is an epic confrontation.
And didn't it take 6 months for it to come back just before?
It did. So it has come back rather randomly. This is, nobody was expecting it. It caught everybody off guard, except for me. Me in my infinite wisdom, I called this several months ago. No, I didn't. Not really. what I said several months ago was that I believe that the Malik event was going to get alternated. I think that they were going to run the Malik event. Sometimes it was going to be run after the Scourge of the Old Republic, and sometimes it was going to be run after Legend of the Old Republic, because obviously, Starforge Showdown does require both Revans. It's an epic confrontation. It only lasts. It's a 3-day event, isn't it? It's only 3 days. And I just thought that, that they would chop it and change it around. I really wasn't expecting it back this soon. So if you think about it, they're going to run it now. So I foresee the next time that they run it will be not the next time that they run Darth Revan, but the time after that. So if you can get your Darth Revan and your Jedi Knight Revan ready for the Star Forge Showdown, I would highly recommend doing it this time, because I don't think that Malik is going to come back for at least another 2 Darth Revan events. So now is the time to get it. In all honesty, I think that they'll probably throw something out between now and the next Malik, which could potentially make getting Malik the next time kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, it's certainly been something that's been kicked around, and we'll get into after I accept your challenge for this quality of life. We'll touch on all these rumors, if something hasn't come out officially between right now, Thursday night when we're recording this, and Friday when it plays back, and by the time we go live on Friday, if something has come out, we'll concede to that. But if still not, we're going to address all these, can I say asinine rumors? Would that offend you, Neil?
Conspiracy theories, I will bring my tinfoil hat.
Exactly. But, here's another. Well, I'm just going to segue right into a conspiracy theory of essentially cheating your way into territory war wins.
Controversial. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, if you knew about this and you did this type of exploit, I hope that your guild gets reprimanded for it. If you purposely
was it an exploit or was it a hack?
No, it was an exploit. And
it was an exploit.
And if somebody did this purposely, if they then shame on you for using this sort of I mean, I get incensed when people play dumb when they truly did something purposely. And if somebody accidentally did this, that's fine. I'm not mad at you. But if you play dumb but you actually did this, then stop ruining fun for other people to create fun for yourself. That is not how you live life. But what happened is, if you put in a full fleet, and it didn't matter, it could be your worst ships, and it could be Grand Moff Tarkin, and you removed the first reinforcement, and you set that defense, you locked up the entire zone for anybody that included offense or setting defense.
Oh, wow.
So if everybody placed their teams except for the last one, and the last person that went in there dropped in this missing player formation.
Mm-hmm.
Then when your opponent got to your fleets, they would get an error where they could not get into your fleets, and therefore you've got a perfect defense on your fleets.
Yeah.
That they and if somebody's saying you're giving the secret away, no, they gave it away on their own. CG gave it away on their own through their dev announcements. They explained what happened, and they said, guess what? In short term, players will see an error below, and their squad will not be placed. You'll need to restart your client, and you could place your squad again. And I loved how they used the word correctly.
So it was fixed then. The issue was resolved.
Oh, the issue has been resolved, but I had reports of people in our listener lounge saying, I'm having this problem. I can't get into their fleets. There's all these problems. And I'm sitting there going, I have no idea what's going on. Luckily, they identified the issue. So for those people that cry that, CG doesn't move quick enough, they sure moved in between this last territory war and the next one coming up to make sure it doesn't happen again. So yeah, they do move quick enough, at least in my opinion, Neil.
Well, I think, that definitely deserves a pat on the back, but since there's nobody from CG here, it'll just have to be an imaginary one. So imaginary pat on the back to CG, you got something right this time.
Well, we do have the super secret CG moles in the listener lounge, so it's okay. They know.
Mm-hmm.
They hear you. They got their pat on the back. But you know what? Another thing just happened this past month, essentially, right, Nev?
What happened this past month? Please do illuminate me, Paul.
It was Grand Arena Championship month.
Oh, was it really? You know what? It completely slipped my mind.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
It didn't.
Stay tuned after the break. We're going to go ahead and throw it to a break. Stay tuned after the break. And, Neil, you didn't tell me exactly what we're talking about as far as GAC, but I have a feeling this is not going to end pretty for either of us, but we'll see what happens. Stay tuned right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
Micaeus Modding Mayhem is the premier remodding service for the game that we all love, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. With some of the most affordable rates in the industry, Micaeus will rebuild your roster from top to bottom and give you consultation on where to go from there. Micaeus has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and lots of useful additional services, including a full cleanup of your mods, loadout pages, PvP plans, and more. Contact Micaeus today on Discord at all lowercase Micaeus number 0127. That's MIKAYAS number 0127, or at micaeusmods@gmail.com. Micaeus Modding Mayhem, the official remodding service of the Escape Pod Cast.
Did you know that if you signed up to become a Patreon, you could get tons of rewards? Force Ghost Scotty could do a roster review for you. Neil Andrew Ware could share Grand Arena tactics. Or Paul could even help you get maximum stars in Geonosis Territory Battle. And you even get access into the after show. Sound good? Sign up to be a Patreon today. For as little as $2 a month, you could unlock a ton of potential content and also get closer to the hosts. Head to patreon.com/the Escape Pod to sign up.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and you are listening to the Escape Podcast.
Welcome back, and it's time to talk GAC with me and Paul. Paul, are you ready for a powwow?
Whatever you called me to this powwow. What do you got?
Well, obviously we had the end of GAC, so we had the review recently, and I must admit that it left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. Not because when I entered into phase 2, I wasn't placed in a group. No, well, yes, it did leave a bitter taste in my mouth, but the real bitter taste was the rewards at the end of the championship. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the end of phase rewards, you get your Zetas and you get some crystal, you get some bits and pieces at the end of each phase, along with some Omegas if you write down at the bottom. I think those rewards are pretty decent. It's one round. It's one phase, 3 rounds. Happy with that. What I'm kind of not happy with is the end of championship rewards. And a couple of people have pointed this out. Even Cubs fan Han pointed this out. And it doesn't sit right with me that you do all of this work for 1 month and then the difference in prizes, and I'm not just talking about Kaiba or Rhodium or the other leagues, I'm talking about all of them. The difference between first and the difference between, so it goes like 1 to 10, 10 to 20, top 50, top 100, and then it's 200 and everyone else. The difference in prizes is very, very negligible. It's almost non-existent. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. The difference in prizes between the top of Kaiba and the bottom of Kaiba is 500,000 credits and a few thousand of the currency. Now, that currency does not get you a lot. Once you've spent it, you've got to wait for another GAC. Now, and I know you get little bits here from doing the feats, but it's little bits here and there. It's like, 20 here, 30 there. And yes, it does add up. But
yeah,
you'd think that when you got to the end of a championship, if you'd worked your butt off and made it into, say, the top 100 or the top 50, you would earn enough currency to be able to, I don't know, say, do a complete Gear 12 finishing piece. How about a Gear 12 finishing piece as a minimum? To have the currency to be able to buy the pieces to finish off a character and take them to Gear 13. I don't think that that's an unreasonable request for an end of championship prize. Now, I'm not asking for Zetas. We get plenty of opportunities to win Zetas throughout the month. If you're finishing first, you're getting what, two Zetas per phase, 4 phases. So if you win every single phase, you're looking at an extra 8 Zetas on top of all the other Zetas that you get from all of the other events through the month. So I'm not asking for Zetas, but what I would suggest is they add some more currency and they add some crystals to the end of championship rewards, because CG are the ones that kind of pushed this in the direction of GAC is going to be the new main event. We're kind of going to move away from Squad Arena and we're going to move towards GAC. And in order to do that they kind of need to increase that crystal incentive. Everybody's incentivized to do well in Squad Arena because of crystals. And I just think that incentive is just missing in GAC. So, what do you think? Come on.
Well, what do I think? I think that you're being a little bit too elitist for this whole type of mode. So, how many refresh my memory, because sometimes I have problems. How many divisions are there, Neil?
There are 11 divisions.
Okay, so 11 divisions. And of those 11 divisions, you're saying that only the top 200 should get good stuff. So that you're saying that only 2,200 people are going to be rewarded for their work.
Yes, but it's the reward. It's the Kaiba rewards for each division has its own Kaiba.
Yes,
each division has its own Kaiba, and while I would argue that you could come up with some extra rewards for all of the final finishing positions for Kaiba, whatever the bottom is for Kaiba, you make that the top for Erodium. And then you scale down again. And then whatever is at the bottom of Erodium, the 200 plus, you make that the top of the next league, and so on and so forth, all the way down to Carbonite.
But then what's happening here is that everyone who does reach Kyber will have those rewards. So you're kind of contradicting yourself that you want only the top 200. And so therefore the 2,200 people.
I'm not. I'm not contradicting myself. I'm saying it's scaled down. So whatever the bottom reward is for 200 plus on Kyber, I may have said that you start. You start with that. That's your baseline, and then the top of Erodium gets just something scaled down a little bit from the bottom of Kyber. So
honestly,
it will go down on a scale, but I just feel that and it's not an elitist. It's a pure. I would prefer the term purist. It's a purist. For those pugilists of us out there that really, really, really go to town on analysis and well, I'm not just somebody. I'm not just somebody that logs in, joins, and then sees what I've got. I do heavy analysis so that I can figure out what I need to put in defense and what I need to say for offense against my opponent. I want to know how many 10 speed mods they've got, how many 15 speed mods they've got, how many 6-dot mods they've got, what their total victories are, how many undersized wins they've got. I'm putting in a lot of extra effort, and I know other players are putting in that extra effort, and it would be nice to see. It would be nice to know that extra effort is rewarded at the end. I'm not saying that is to be.
It is, because as you gain those points, technically it doesn't matter. What you're seeing is if you place first, when you're looking at those things, if nobody in Division 11 was able to hit Erodium, the top of the list places in what is it? Chromium?
I think it's Carbonite, Chromium, Erodium, and then Kyber.
Okay, so yeah, it's Chromium then.
I think it's 4 leagues. I think it's 4 leagues. I'm
pretty
sure it's 4.
What you're looking at is it's not the person in first place of Chromium. It's the person. It's if nobody hit Erodium or Kyber.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen though.
Well, no, that's what they're saying. That is what those rewards are that you're seeing. It's if you did not climb to this level of this league, if you are placed first, but in the division. If you place first,
well, no, that's just it. You've sorry.
Let me finish.
Okay, so
I'll let you go. I let you go.
Okay, no, you're absolutely right. Yep, go ahead.
So you can understand this. If you placed first and you did not climb, if you placed first in your division and you did not climb into Kyber, you will get Erodium rewards for your first place finish. I don't remember what place I finished. I'm not a PvP guy. That's you. Your devotion to GAC and things like that is what earned you a spot right here on this show, Nev. So I just want to point that out. You delve into deep theory crafting, and I absolutely love that. And sometimes I turn to you on this. I will fully admit that. But your understanding of the rewards is wrong. And I just want to point that out because it all is dependent on that type, on what you end up being in when the whole thing ends. If you ended up first and got Erodium, you get Erodium leagues. So it is exactly like you are. Let's say 1 through 75 end up in Kyber. Then 76.
Well, you've got. Well, that's the thing is.
Hang on.
You've got a one.
Hang on.
Oh.
76 starts the Erodium League, and people aren't going to get 1 through 75 rewards in Erodium League. They're going to get the first reward at 76. So it does it is the trickle downonomics that you want.
Well, no, that's just it. But it's not. There is a one to, there's a number one in each league. So, number one in Kaiba, right? Number one in Kaiba gets 1.8 million and 5,500 currency. What I'm saying is that should get a crystal reward, okay, and maybe some mod slicing gear, because mod slicing gear is it's not easy to come by. And then 2 to 10 gets literally 300,000 less and 300 currency less. And then it scales down as it goes through Kaiba. You've got 1 first, then 2nd to 10, 11 to 25, 26 to 50, and then 51 to 200. And then obviously 201 and everybody else. Now, the difference is between the top and the bottom, it's about 500,000 credits and a couple of thousand of the new currency. So you could introduce crystals as a reward. You give number one of Kaiba 500 crystals. You give number one in Squad Arena 500 crystals. So the tier prizes in Squad Arena should be passed down to the final positions in the championship. So when you look in Squad Arena, you've got 10 tiers of crystal prizes. So it goes 500, 450, 400, 350, 300, 250, 200, 100, and then 50, I think. 75 and then 50. So that's what I'm saying. And then you just keep scaling it down. You'd probably need to, widen the gap. I just think that something like that introduced as a championship prize would be a fairer reward for the time and effort by players put into the game. That's my argument. That the time spent deserves a better reward, and it would be possible for them to scale it and add some crystals in there. Now, I know you get crystals for getting promoted.
Yeah,
you get a handful of crystals going from carbonite to bronzium to chromium to erodium. I mean, you get 200 crystals going from erodium to to Kaiba, and that's great.
And you get zetas. So
you get zetas,
don't tell me that the investment, the only way that you can even sniff the Kyber of Kyber is going to be if you're investing yourself down the line. So you're getting those crystals, you're getting those, you're getting a darn good box that includes zetas.
I mean, strictly speaking, it depends. It is easier to get into Kaiba in certain divisions. I would say, the elite players, the 1 and 2. It is much harder for Division 1 and 2 players to make it into Kaiba. It's and then it gets easier. I'd say 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's a little bit easier. 7, 8, 9. From 7 below, it is very easy to get into Kaiba.
Okay.
I mean, you can, so, and that's why, that's why the prizes would be scaled. So Division 1 and 2 people would get, a scalable crystal prize for the end of a month. And as it goes down through the divisions, that you would scale down the crystal. I would say crystal rewards, and I would say mod slicing. Salvage. I think those if you were to put those two things, if you were to add a certain amount of those two things, it would just make people feel better about the effort that they're putting in to trying to achieve the tippy top of the Kaiba, which is what people are trying to do. They're trying to get right to the top. I mean, it was all. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about the bragging rights. I love making it into Kaiba. Everybody loves being in the Kaiba Club. But I just think that it's just that tiny little thing missing to make GAC perfect, and that missing thing is just some crystals and some mod salvage right at the end of the championship, depending on what your final championship position is in whatever league you're in.
To me, Neil, it just sounds like you want to enroll every single person into the Crystal Welfare Club. I'm sorry. It truly sounds like it. But you want to know something? You said that it's easier, and correct me if I'm wrong. I was listening to your every word in such a loving way. But you said that as you get lower in division or higher in number in division, it becomes easier to get into Kyber, right?
That is correct.
Okay,
yes.
So correct me if I'm wrong. That sounds a little bit like catch-up mechanics.
Well, don't the people at the top want people to climb and get better squads so that they've got somebody else to, compete with?
Oh, yes. I have no problem with catch-up mechanics. But there are some Krakens that are like, no, I spent my money. I should be the only one that gets this stuff.
Well, we're talking about rewards that are going to come once a month. Once a month. What's wrong with a few extra 100 crystals getting bung the player's way and enough mod salvage to, say, for example, take 2 or 3 mods to 6E? That is not a game-changing reward. Mod salvage to do a couple of mods to 6E and crystals that will do what? A day, 2, 3 days worth of refreshes. That is not game-changing rewards. It's not going to upset the Krakens, but it will really, really make the free-to-play want to get better. And the Krakens and the whales need free-to-play in order to, do what they, do what they do.
They need to feed.
They need the what?
They need to feed.
Yes. If they don't have free to play to smash, what's the point in them spending all of their coin to create accounts that, grind free to play, into the dirt? I mean, we expect to be grinding into the dirt by Krakens, but, it'd be nice if we could get some decent rewards on the way there.
In other words, Neil, what's the other point for a Kraken? I think the politically correct way for me to put it is a wand wagging contest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing for a Kraken. Now, I will gladly admit that I am the Pokemon collector of Jedi. I love my Space Jedi Pokemon, and I love to see, I for the lack of a better term, I wag my wand saying I've got all currently available 7-star characters. That's what makes me happy. Mm-hmm. I don't care about pounding somebody into the dirt or feeding on somebody else. I have no desire to go around thinking that I'm King Excrement of Fornication Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So it all comes. Go ahead.
I was going to say, look, free to play like to beat other free to play. We expect to lose to Krakens. We expect to lose to whales, but we like to be competitive with other free to play. Free to play like to be, because I mean, yeah, sure, we can compete with some Krakens and we can compete with some whales. I mean, they're the ones that haven't been playing the game for donkey's years. A 3 to 4 year free to play veteran will and can beat a less than 12-month whale or Kraken. I've done it. My main account, I'm in Division 3, the account that I play on my iOS device, my original account from 4 years ago. It's only 3.5 million, don't have a lot of Gear 12s, don't have a lot of Zetas, and I've come up against whales, and the only reason I didn't get Kyber on that was because I forgot to do my final battle. So it is possible.
Wait a minute.
What? Sorry, what? Repeat
that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. A little bit embarrassing. I didn't make Kyber on my iOS phone, my main account, the one that I've had since the beginning, because I forgot to fight in my last battle of the last round of the last phase. All I needed to do was full clear. I didn't even need to win, and I missed Kyber by that much. But along the way, I was fine. Going from phases 1, 2, 3, I competed against a couple of Krakens, but they did not know what to do with their rosters. They didn't know what correct teams to put in defense. They didn't know what to say for offense, and they hit a wall of I say a wall of geos. They couldn't get past my geos. They couldn't get past my Padme, and then they couldn't get past the 2 weak Zeta teams that I put on the back because I was looking at what they got, and so that's what leads to veteran free to pay players can compete with weaker Krakens, but we still need that incentive, and that's why I've been arguing about better rewards at the end of a championship.
Well, I think that I think we're at a point where we can respectfully agree to disagree in this situation, even though I think that I have no problem with the catch-up mechanics. I really don't. I think what you're getting throughout the time that you're playing for that month as you progress, and mind you, as you do the feats, every little bit counts. Every little bit gives you points. I make my case in point by pointing out to you that you said, I don't think that I might be able to get to Kyber if I can complete enough feats. Oh no, wait, there's not. That was in your stream just a few days ago. From then, you thought, maybe I can get to Kyber if I do this, and unfortunately, you were not able to. Now,
no, I was beaten. So the feats didn't matter.
I bring this back around and I say, I disagree with you. I think that if you apply yourself to completing feats, if you apply yourself to advancing in the time, then you do get enough that it just comes back around. Those boxes add up over time. It's not just the instant gratification. It's not Freud here, Neil.
I'm not suggesting it is. But and it's your position is perfectly valid coming from the angle that you're coming from. But I will always harken back to the fact that all I'm talking about here is a championship reward increase. You'll get no argument from me regarding the rewards that you get progressing throughout phases 1, 2, 3, and 4. Winning your rounds, doing the feats. I think all of those rewards, those little bits here and there, can you do it with a Grievous? Can you get, through 24 Separatists? Can you get 24 wins with your Galactic Republic? That's brilliant. And those feats allow players to score extra points and get extra banners for skill and strategy, because it does require skill and strategy in order to achieve those feats and get those extra banners and get that extra coin. And I'm not arguing for anything extra or anything more there. All I'm arguing for, again, obviously, I'm a broken record. Repeat. All I'm arguing for is just a little something. At the end, just a little something, just a little taster.
You do get a little something. You get at least 500,000 credits. You get a bunch of the coin, which I'm glad they're not putting characters into. But can we agree to disagree and go?
Oh, of course, yeah. We have reached an impasse.
Okay, and can we get ready to go talk to Zylo Takedown and celebrate his 1K club?
Oh, absolutely. I think we should.
All right. So, as far as, you didn't get to Kyber. I'm going to end on this note, Neil. You didn't get to Kyber. And you want all this stuff to end up, paying off in the end. I'm going to say this. You know, if you really wanted to get into Kyber, you would have played that last day. We'll be right back on the Escape Pod cast.
The Escape Pod cast.
Hey everyone, Biscuit Weasel here from the planet Coruscant and the HSTR project. Some of you may have seen my latest videos about my modding and Grand Arena strategy, but I want to help you personally. Head on over to patreon.com/biscuitweasel, that's Weasel with a Z, and check out my new Patreon rewards. And while they last, the first 10 people to sign up at the $10 level will get the whole $30 package for their first month. That's patreon.com/biscuitweasel. Remember, that's with a Z. Today.
Hey there, Escape Podawans. Everyone's favorite llama here to remind you that the Escape Pod cast is on social media. That's right, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. So give us a like, give us a follow, and stay up to date on all things in-game and in the Escape Pod. Our account links are down in the description or on our Discord server in the Show Links channel. See you on the net!
The Escape Pod cast for kids. It's really cool.
Hello there, boys and girls, and welcome to the Escape Pod cast for kids with me, your host, The Nev. Last week, I talked about starting a brand new account that I'll be making my future content with, and I asked all you boys and girls out there to join me on this journey. Lots of you got in touch with me, and we're now shardmates on a brand new arena. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you all. The primary reason for me doing this was because my other content about the pillar system has come to an end. Well, not technically an end, as I'll still be going live with GAC and legendary events, so you can continue to see the progress of Pom-Pom-tastic. I have loved every minute of the content I've produced, and it was through this account that I was able to determine the type of advice I would pass on to all you lovely people out there in YouTube land. My last episode was yesterday, and the first episode of my new series, The Horde, was on earlier today, so I do hope you can continue to watch my daily episodes of the new series. With that being said, I think now is the time to retire my storytelling duties. I'm not going anywhere, boys and girls. You can still hear me during the regular show as I debate and banter with my co-host Paul. But as far as the Escape Pod cast for kids go, I'm going to hand over the storytelling responsibilities to the llama. I'm sure she will take good care of you. It's a new beginning for me on my channel and this show, so why not a new beginning for someone else? I've loved every minute of my time telling you stories, but I'll only be one segment away, so don't fret. So, boys and girls, this is it. It's time for me to say goodbye and thank you for joining me for Storytime with the Nev on the Escape Pod cast for kids.
Micaeus Modding Mayhem is the premier remodding service for the game that we all love, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. With some of the most affordable rates in the industry, Micaeus will rebuild your roster from top to bottom and give you consultation on where to go from there. Micaeus has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and lots of useful additional services, including a full cleanup of your mods, loadout pages, PvP plans, and more. Contact Micaeus today on Discord at all lowercase Micaeus number 0127. That's MIKAYAS number 0127, or at micaeusmods@gmail.com. Micaeus Modding Mayhem, the official remodding service of the Escape Pod cast.
Did you know that if you signed up to become a Patreon, you could get tons of rewards? Force Ghost Scotty could do a roster review for you. Neil Andrew Air could share Grand Arena tactics. Or Paul could even help you get maximum stars in Geonosis Territory Battle. And you even get access into the after show. Sound good? Sign up to be a Patreon today. For as little as $2 a month, you could unlock a ton of potential content and also get closer to the hosts. Head to patreon.com/the Escape Pod to sign up.
Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission.
And welcome into this week's incoming transmission on the Escape Pod cast. And this is going to be the first time that we've had someone on for the third time. And I honestly cannot think of somebody better to be the first three-time guest on the Escape Pod cast than the one, the only, the newest member of the 1K Club. Tell that to Kanji Klub. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us this week, Zylo Takedown. What's going on, Zylo?
Hey, what's up, Paul? Nev, I'm so glad to be back. And, I actually got the acronym right this time, or the synonym right, the Escape Pod cast.
Yeah, you just need to make that pause just a little bit longer. Heard. So how do you feel, mate? How does it feel to finally be in the 1K Club?
Oh man, it's humbling. It's also it's kind of scary too. I mean, to get to where I've been and being on YouTube for almost 3 years now, coming up in the winter. It's a lot of pressure, but I'm taking a different approach to YouTube and my audience and the viewers that I've accumulated in the last couple of weeks now. And I will tell you guys, it's going to be a very interesting trip to the next 2K pedestal. And I'm happy to have all the support, and the community is taking care of me and my family, and I can't thank you guys enough as well for being so supportive of me since we've met, months back in February. And, I just want to start off by saying too, I miss you, Scotty. I really, really miss you, Scotty. And I'm really thankful for all the support from Scotty, and of course from you too as well. Reality Scoot Gamers, DB Official 125, and the moderators on my Discord server as well. Big shout out to Hellenix, the Greek, and Dagger, the Dagger, I should say. And last but not least, Sean, the Red Ragnar Kelly, and Paul Anthony. You are also one of my moderators too, so thank you very much, brother.
You're very welcome. And it's absolutely a pleasure, man. You provide how to put it? I would say the most honest and real content when it comes to a person who kind of dolphins when they can. It's raw reaction, and that's what puts your channel in its own league. Is honestly, Takedown Games is raw reaction from a player that is the average player.
Yeah, I mean, I've never claimed to be the best at this game. I do love all aspects of the game. That's why I never really focused on one niche topic or subject or content in general. And yeah, I mean, the raw content material, especially, I don't want to be filtered while keeping a proper and productive environment for my viewers, but also there's things that trigger us, guys, and there's things that make us upset, and at the end of the day, all we can do is speak loudly and speak what's on our mind, speak truly. And at the end of the day, yeah, some of these things are gonna trigger us a little bit, but the best part about my channel and my Discord is bringing others together and finding a way to get past this. There's been multiple times over the last year and a half where the game's gotten really frustrating, but I would say that's to be expected from a going on 4-year game, and it's about something so passionate that we care about, Star Wars. This is why we're here, and I want to find a way to accumulate more people that feel the same and want to talk about these things. And again, how can we get past these things? How can we do this as a group?
Well, I'd like to add that I think it's your everyman aspect of the game that has made you so entertaining from time to time. I mean, there's been many a time where I've watched you in a GAC, for example, and you simultaneously express the highs and the lows. A perfect example of that would have been a GAC where you lost your very first battle of your very first round of the very first phase with your main account, and you just completely and utterly lost it, and you ended up rage quitting the stream, which just, but prior to that happening, you had like this massive, overwhelming feeling of euphoria when you completely and utterly wiped the floor with your opponent when you did your ult. So you went from like the biggest high of getting all those undersized wins, and I remember you getting that undersized win with Boba Fett, and you were like, get in there, yeah. And then like literally, 10 minutes later, like, I hate this game. God damn it, CG, get your ass. It was just like, it was going from one to the other, and it was just, that was one of your most priceless streams. It really was.
Yeah, I hope when YouTube goes to review the partnership with the 1000, of course, it just to reference that for other people too in the future. It does take to about a month to accumulate the partnership. But back to GAC, you guys know how passionate I am about Grand Arena Championships. Even before it was Grand Arena Championships, I would say that going from raids being my favorite feature in game to now obviously Grand Arena Championships. I was really passionate about Grand Arena when it first launched, and the one thing I really was focusing on was what 3 or 4 teams or 3 or 4 man teams can go in and beat this full team here on offense. What can I utilize more on defense and take advantage of that on both sides of the board? And yeah, I've had a lot of shortcomings and trying to be more of a positive player. But at that time specifically too was when Relics and Malik and all these other big game-changing things were happening, and I wanted to kind of voice that a little bit. A lot of people as content creators kind of shy away from their true feelings, and not to say that about anyone in specific, or you want to be clean, you want to be professional, but from time to time, again, those triggers and the repercussions of making a mistake and it costing you Grand Arena, it's a horrible feeling, but it's also it's humbling. Again, you don't want to go in there and raffle stomp your opponent every time. You want a fair match, you want a competition, and you want to feel like you won or lost with everything you got. And at the time, I had started doing the alt account, I would say about a month and a half, 2 months ago, with the main account too as well for Grand Arena Championships. The alt obviously runs on some simpler 2 or 3 man teams for offense, some stale defense that'll probably get 1 hold. And the offense on the main account, man, it seems like whichever way you go, offensively or defensively, it's really tough at the 5 million plus bracket, and with relics, all these new GP boosters, it's really hard to say what is a good fair matchup, or if the opponent's cheating. The cheating stuff has really bothered me the last few months, knowing that cheating's been in the game for years, since back when tournaments were up, and it's still here with Grand Arena Championships, which they're trying to incentivize as the most active gameplay, right? The biggest content that they want to advertise right now, not territory battles, not fleet or shard arena, anything like that. It's all Grand Arena Championships. And if we can't get the cheating fixed, then how's that going to motivate us, right?
It seems that they do have it fixed. I haven't seen many, finger pointing incidents since they announced a stronger crackdown. I am thankful, if you will, for Bulldog Gate, because it did end up getting CG to publicly address it. I regret Bulldog Gate because, to me, CG has pulled back a lot from talking too much about it. But with that being said, they're in the right place. And these server updates, there's a reason there's nothing that's facing us. And I really think that they've got a way to nip it in the bud, and I'm very glad that they do. So I don't think we're going to see much of that. And you were talking about GAC. Nev and I just got finished here, before the break, yelling about the whole GAC rewards.
Yeah.
With that being said, the people that have listened to the show so far today, they know what we've been saying, and we're not gonna. You won't get any feedback on this, Kylo. This is right now your Zylo, not Kylo. You won't get any feedback from us on this, but we're gonna give you a platform to let the audience know what you feel about rewards, and give us both your take on per round and overall.
Yeah, I mean, the reward system for a month's worth of work, right? I mean, it seems kind of minuscule, right? I mean, the Zetas, you could make a case for they're fine the way they are, but I mean, you could do a lot of other things, more mod salvage overall, because mod salvage flies off the shelf left and right, more currency, implementing crystals because it's that competitive nature now. There's a lot of things, even the championship tokens too seem minuscule, because I can spend 1,000 of those really quickly. I would like to see more rewards, not just to incentivize competition, but to also make the month's worth of Grand Arena Championships feel like it's not such a grind. Like, I enjoy Grand Arena Championships regardless, win or loss. Publicly, when I'm streaming it, I was a little more vibrant and expressive, obviously, but until I get back to the streaming platform, of course, I don't think that the Grand Arena Championships rewards will be changed anytime soon, unfortunately, but I feel like the more that the community voices it and the more that we incentivize, like, this is a month's worth of work. Like, it's not like I'm popping in once or twice a week and getting those 1, 2, 3 Zetas, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I want to feel like it's more than rewarding for a month's worth of work, but I would like to see other rewards too. I mean, like maybe newer character shards or newer ship shards, anything. I'm really hungry for some newer content. Mainly, I love the TB. I love Grand Arena Championships, but we're missing characters. We thought this was going to be the year that ships were really thriving. And again, other than the Negotiator and the Vulture Droid, the 2 Galactic Chase events that we had this year got killed really quickly because they were so free to play accessible. And now, here we are, still looking for a ship's raid, still looking for Grievous's capital ship, still looking for more of these Galactic Republic characters like Kiadi Mundi, some of the other clones, etc. I mean, we need more content before this next game mode, Lightside GOTB in particular, comes around, and I just feel like Grand Arena Championships, again, could be a lot more rewarding.
Well, you won't get an argument out of me on that. Absolutely not. As I said, as Paul and I,
it's kind of a marriage of the two. It's kind of a marriage of the two, Nev.
Yeah. No. Well, I will not concede. I will not concede the high ground. No, absolutely not. I will not concede.
You don't have the high ground. Anyway, whatever. Go on.
I have the high ground.
So yes, I quite agree with you. Where the speculation is obviously that there is some new content coming, but we still don't know what that content is. I would definitely agree with you regarding certain aspects of the rewards for GAC, and I couldn't agree with you more regarding a ship raid. Obviously, a ship raid is quite necessary. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's going to be Grievous's capital ship, though. I think it'll be Newt Gunray's capital ship, and I think it'll be the fighter, General Grievous's fighter, which is the Soulless one. Because the
one that escapes at the end of the tank raid, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Soulless one is already in game, so I think it makes more sense. I think it makes more sense for that. But
definitely,
I just want to roll it back. just want to roll it back to your channel. So, what are your plans for the immediate future? What are your plans for the next few weeks, the next few months, basically until the end of the year? Now that you've hit that 1K.
Well, I've been planning on to at least upload once every other day, or as frequently as I can for videos. I've taken a step back a little bit more to how I'm going to represent myself. First off, because I do's and don'ts of YouTube, right? Thumbnails, tags, all these variables come into play. I'm just wanting to be more open and more professional, trying to, give more quality of what YouTube's algorithm is looking for, not just the viewers. And, people enjoy my videos with, what content I can provide now. So I feel like I just want to, keep recording Grand Arena Championships now while I can, trying to be more informational about it too. A couple of my viewers had mentioned in the last video that I posted with the celebration of the 1K and the Grand Arena Championships film that, they want me to be more vibrant and expressing why these counters work and what the kill order is, and the mods in particular, speed orders if necessary. So I want to be a little more analytic for one, and for two, I would like to try to interact with my viewers a little bit more personally, other than live streaming. We do have like a new feature now. We don't have the MacBook to stream like we were in the past, but we do have like the Facecam live streams to where you can stream from a mobile device, and find some ways to just chit chat with the viewers like that in between uploading videos. And I have been playing Marvel Strike Force 2 for a little over a year and a half, so I've made some gradual content there. Yeah, and then I do plan on doing one more game as well in the future. I'll keep that one in my back pocket, unfortunately, but my channel is Takedown Games, and I originally started on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, but I would like to start working on other games too as well. But again, the main focus is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and none of the uploads that I upload around Galaxy of Heroes will apply to my upload schedule for that. So you have no worries there. I do not want to quit this game. I'm almost 4 years in, and I love this game. I love this community. It's the first time I've ever been a part of such a big community, and a lot of you guys are family to me and friends, and you know what I mean? It's just... It's that's what this is becoming now. This is the Takedown family, and that's what this is all for. At the end of the day, is for my son and for my wife, and I want everybody to be a part of that family too as well. And everybody that ever needs anything, I want to be there 100% in your corner.
Hey, you're stealing my line. No, I mean, seriously, Zylo, you're one of the most, as I said before, you're one of the most real people that play this game, and we've been there. We've seen every single step of the way. We've seen your hardships, we've seen your victories, and I'm glad that we were able to celebrate this 1K victory with you. And the other game that you could also play is Fishing Clash. A lot of us love Fishing Clash.
Ooh, duly noted. I do love me some fishing too, boy. It's been a couple of years since I got a pole in my hands.
So what you got? What you got, Nev?
Well, I just want to say before Zylo goes, it's good to hear the old Zylo. It's good to hear the old Zylo.
It's good to be back, man. It's good to be in a positive state. Yes.
Full of verve. Back in the game. That's what we want to hear. That's what we like to hear. That's what got you so many subscribers. And long may he reign.
Well, Zylo, that does go ahead and we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. But, we really do appreciate it, as I mentioned. Coming up next, Nev, you told me to come up with this top 10, and I think I did it justice. We'll see what comes up here. I think that I can bring a good quality of life to you if you just open your eyes. But anything else, Zylo, before we let you go?
Oh no, man. Paul and Nev, thank you guys so much for having me here, and I hope nothing but the best for you guys in the Escape Pod Cast.
All right, buddy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the bridge live right after this on the Escape Pod. Go ahead. Say it, Zylo.
Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
Micaeus Modding Mayhem is the premier remodding service for the game that we all love, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. With some of the most affordable rates in the industry, Micaeus will rebuild your roster from top to bottom and give you consultation on where to go from there. Micaeus has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and lots of useful additional services, including a full cleanup of your mods, loadout pages, PvP plans, and more. Contact Micaeus today on Discord at all lowercase Micaeus number 0127. That's MIKAYAS number 0127, or at micaeusmods@gmail.com. Micaeus Modding Mayhem, the official remodding service of the Escape Pod Cast.
Did you know that if you signed up to become a Patreon, you could get tons of rewards? Force Ghost Scotty could do a roster review for you. Neil Andrew Ware could share Grand Arena tactics. Or Paul could even help you get maximum stars in Geonosis Territory Battle. And you even get access into the after show. Sound good? Sign up to be a Patreon today. For as little as $2 a month, you could unlock a ton of potential content and also get closer to the hosts. Head to patreon.com/The Escape Pod to sign up.
The Escape Pod Cast Top 10.
All right, Nev, you there?
Oh, I'm here. Yes, I am.
All right. Well, hang on a second, because for some reason my my audition decided to close as soon as I sat down. So we're not technically recording this part yet.
Oh, well, I am.
If you will.
Well,
you're getting your side.
Speak for yourself. I'm recording.
Or are you getting both of us right now?
I'm getting both. I'm getting both of us right now.
So I don't need to record on my side?
No. You don't need to record on your side, not if you don't want to.
All right, well, screw it. Welcome back to the Escape Podcast. I'm Paul Anthony, joined alongside live in the fourth segment with Neil Andrew Ware. Hello, Nev.
Hello, Paul.
So, all right. So you gave me, during the first segment last night, you gave me some homework to do because I gave you homework to do a top 10 last week on your first show.
Yes, I did.
So you decided to go with top 10 quality of life updates.
Yes, I did.
And I think I did pretty good here. Let's see here. Let's see. I got to bring up my list that I sent over to you. You have seen this list,
yeah,
and
I'm looking at the list. You sent it to me. You sent it to me a short while ago. I'm looking at your list, and I will definitely disagree with you on one of these.
Oh God! Of course you're going to, but
hey,
number
look,
10.
Hey, you agreed with me twice last week. Be thankful I'm only disagreeing with you once.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, your idea of including Ray on there was asinine, but that nonetheless. Here we go.
Well, the listeners didn't think so. So go, just come on, let's go.
All right, fine. Number 10 of the top 10 quality of life improvements that they can make. Number 10, put the guild shortcut back in the bottom left, especially if the only raid running is the simmed Rancor. Nobody needs to see another screen when all you have to do is hit join once and then you're done and you've gotten the thing. It's just like all you need to do is go deploy your damn ships in territory battles. Just push deploy all, and boom, you're done. It's just as simple as that, Nev. So you're agreeing with me that they need to take out the extra step screen?
Yeah, no, I think that's a perfectly reasonable, perfectly rational QOL to request, definitely.
Okay. So, and by the way, if you see anything in the listener lounge that needs to be sent over to me, by all means, you're able to go and just throw it out at me. I do see that Goobatine thinks that I'm unprepared. But I'm sorry. I actually am prepared. I sent this list over to him at 12:57 this afternoon. So shut up. I love you, Goobatine. Number 9, we need a mythic galactic war. We absolutely need a mythic galactic war for the fact that, as we have heard from a lot of the audience, people like Deadpool Kyle and Dagger both saying, give us something to play with our toys. I totally agree with that. Number 8 coming in is a way to turn off the damn red dots. And you know what? Listen to this, CG. Listen to this, because this actually has something that could feed you data, being able to turn those off. Now, if instead of doing a favorite, you could do an ignore, CG could pull that data of what characters are people ignoring, and then end up making them characters that people will start wanting to gear, wanting to do things with. So it's a way for CG to gather money. Let us ignore certain objects or certain ships, certain characters, so we can just see when it's absolutely necessary that we go into that character scroll.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Yep, I'll give you that one, definitely.
All right. So far, 10 through
so
8,
good.
So far, these are never proved. I'm very glad. Number 7, allow us to personalize the order of the shipment tabs. You can anchor the standard one, but I hate having to scroll all the way down to the end for the shard store. I hate having to scroll all the way down to the end. I don't need to see some of the stores anymore. Just let us change up the order. That would be so nice. Am I wrong there, Nev? Is that the one you disagree with?
To be honest with you, that one I'm not that too fussed about. I mean, I don't really care about scrolling through the tabs. I mean, yeah, sure, it'd be nice if you could pick and choose the order that you want to go through them, but when you've been playing the game as long as we have, you kind of just go through the motions anyway. First tab, second tab, and you know where they are. If you started giving people the ability to move them around, we'd move them around and then we'd confuse ourselves. We would. People would be like, "Oh crap! I forgot which order I put." Yeah, people would forget which order they put them in, and they, people would get frustrated with it quite quickly. I think, if you give someone a new toy and they misuse it, they get frustrated with it, and they wish they'd never been given that toy. And sometimes a quality of life change is a new toy, and it can frustrate people. Like the perfect example of that, Paul, would be the quality of life where you start at 20. When you're farming gear, instead of starting at 1 and scrolling to 20, you start at 20 and you have to scroll all the way back to 1. Now, when that first came out, everybody was like, yeah, this is great. I don't have to scroll all the way to the end anymore. But to me, it was like, after a while, it's like, right, okay, this is the second time I've made the mistake of clicking straight on it and buying 20 of something I didn't. So that quality of life then started to frustrate me, and it continues to. So from my position, it's not that I disagree with it. I mean, it's a perfectly decent change, a perfectly decent requestable thing.
Gotta love when there's Amber alerts.
Emergency. Yeah, sorry, I've got an emergency alert on my phone. Flash flood warning in area till 1:45 a.m. So
are you kidding me? You're getting storms up there right now.
That was what my phone gets taken over by emergency alerts from sometimes. So there's a flood warning in my area. That's what that was. The emergency broad. Yes, the Greek. It was an emergency broadcast system. Flood warning, not tornado though. Thankfully.
Yeah, if there was a tornado, I'd say just leave it recording, and you do record in the closet. So
yes, I do. I do record in a very small room. Can't wait to get into my studio down in the basement.
which is also safe during a tornado, so it's great.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, so while I agree there's nothing wrong with that QOL, it's something that I could live without. It's not something that I would push for or press CG on putting out there.
It's number 7. It's number 7. There are 6 other more important things in my mind.
Good. Well, let's go. Come on, hit me, baby.
Number 6. Give us a timer that tells us how long until we're full on energy. I know you get 10 energy per hour through the standard regular energy thing. You get 5 energy per hour on the other one. You get 6 ship energy. I understand how all this works, or you used to get 6 ship energy. I understand exactly how it works, but I would like to, just lazy verify and be able to say, oh, it's going to be 8 hours to get this 80 energy. Okay, cool. It's going to be 4 hours to get this 20 energy in Cantina. Just give me a little extra tool. It would also help those new players out that, have that don't understand the timing, and eventually they'll get into the timing and they'll understand.
Well, yeah, but haven't you got notifications for the app set up? I've got notifications set up on my mobile devices, so it tells me when my energy's full. This is a quality of life update for everybody. I got plenty of updates. If for some reason this show went until 10 o'clock, you'd hear bells and whistles going off in 17 different directions. If we were live at 7 o'clock, you would have heard the same thing. Go back and listen to older shows. You'll hear my alarm go off at what would have been 7 o'clock, which is the time that I get my bonus energy. Okay. Okay. What's your next one then, mate?
My next one is being able to sim the tank raid.
Okay, so this is where I've seen your list, and this is the one I vociferously disagree with.
What? Are you kidding me?
No, I disagree with this one. I really, really, really disagree with this one. Now, don't get me. I'm happy with the simming of the pit raid, and I can understand the logic behind simming the pit raid, because most people in a guild can solo the pit on heroic. So yeah, that's fine. But until you've got 50% of the guild that can sim a pit, sim the tank raid, I like it there, because it enables me to figure out if the squads that I've been making are tough enough to be able to handle what I need them to handle in territory wars, in territory battles. Having the hat and being able to throw my squads in there to kind of field test them, I like that ability. And if you sim the tank raid, it would remove my ability to go into the tank raid and field test various different squads. And I like to be able to field test my squads. So I would hate it if they simmed the tank raid. I really would.
You want to field test things? Go into Galactic War. It's just as difficult as the tank. It's just as difficult as the damn tank raid, Nelv.
No, it isn't. The Galactic War is no. Your number 10 was make a mythic Galactic War. Why? Because Galactic War is easy. It's not difficult. Galactic War is not a good sandbox. It's a good sandbox for low level stuff, but it's not a good sandbox for when if you want to see how good a squad of Gear 11 the difference between a full squad of Gear 11 and a full squad of Gear 12, the tank raid is a good place to do a field test of that, because you can throw them in various different phases and you can test them at different phases to see how they work against different mechanics and have and find out if you've buffed them enough. So I
Go look in the listener lounge right now. Our official CG mole just literally calls you out and says, I'm sorry, if you're field testing in HAAT, that's chump competition.
Well, I don't have an awful lot of Gear 12s or Gear 13. So, when I'm taking things from Gears 10 to 11, I like to have somewhere I can test them. And GW's just not the place to test them. I like to be able to test them in Heroic Tank. That's just me. That is,
Then,
we don't have a sandbox mode, so I need somewhere to test new squads, and
then
I
go
like
back
to
and
test them there.
play the harder versions. Play the mod salvage things. Play the higher end cantinas. They were difficult. They are difficult, especially if you're not going 13 and 12.
But the thing is, right? Okay, those areas that you've just said are doable on auto. Okay, it's different in the Heroic Tank because you can't just make up any squad and throw it on auto because it will get crushed. You've got to do it on manual so that you can test the mechanics of your characters and the upgrades that you've made to your characters. Going to a late end, a later stage canteen or a later stage hard node like light side or dark side stage 9, you can put a decent squad in and just hit the auto, and it doesn't test the the capabilities of a squad. So it's just, look, this is just me. I get, it's a personal opinion, and I would be disappointed if a QOL like that got made. I'm not saying forever. I mean, but by all, if I had squads that I was able to solo the tank raid with, I'd be like, yeah, sim it. It's boring. It's dull, but it's not boring and dull to me yet. So I'd like to keep it.
To me, I was done with tank raid as soon as I had the ability to solo it myself. That's when I decided, I'm done with tank raid. And the rewards are crap. So let us just solo it and not have to invest time to be able to get higher end orange coin, to get more, shards. Just give everybody the same damn stuff. That is why I want the tank raid to be able to be simmed.
Mm-hmm. And that is perfect for your guild. But I know other guilds that they use it as a I mean, before the pit raid was simmable, I started a little competition in my guild called the pit raid challenge, and every single month I would the winner of the previous month would select a faction, and the person with the highest score at the end of soloing the pit raid would win points, and they would choose the faction to attempt to solo and get a high score the next month. But then they brought the sims out, and my little pit raid, my little heroic pit challenge, went out the window. That's what. But you do different things to make things that are dull and boring fun, and that's why I wasn't that fussed about the pit raid, because that's why I made the heroic pit challenge, so you're admitting that
the tank. You're admitting the tank is dull and boring.
No, I'm not admitting the tank is dull and boring. I don't think it is dull and boring.
All right,
I won't concede that.
We'll agree to disagree once again for like the billionth time this episode.
Yeah,
man, I'm starting to think you're trying to give me a heart attack so you could take over the show yourself.
Oh, I'm going to be contrary on many, many, many issues.
All right. Number 4, Scavenger. It has a problem. The gear find flow. I want to be able to go and find out, where I can find these. What's the one that's really, really, really good? Hang on one second. The MK3 Sinar Solo Projector. It takes 20 to craft, and it gives you a whole lot more when you scrap it, when you craft the full piece. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of lower characters that use it. So with that being said, if I'd love to be able to say, okay, I want to farm this. There we go. I can sim it. I could buy it. I could find it. All that done.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one.
So I would love to put a gear find flow inside the simming or the scavenger. So I lost where I was because I had a page up that reminded me what the name of that damn thing was.
You just did 4, so I think you're on 3 now.
Oh, I know. I have to find the list.
Oh, you look.
I didn't put the list on my screen. Where did I put the list? My number 3 was, there we go, Number 3 was the mod battalion loadouts. How wonderful would it be to be able to say, I want to set my mods up like this whenever I hit the reset button, so you can move mods around and change things, or at least do this. Allow me to swap and then revert, undo, and I can pay credits for it. I have no problem in that. So being able to reset your roster to a specific mod loadout across the entire roster, sign me up. Where do I sign?
No, I can see the practical application for something like that, especially if you're trying to get ready for something like Territory Wars or for GAC. I think the best place to put something like that would be in squad layouts, though, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be best to have so when you tap on your squad tab, and it brings up all your various different tabs, and you've got your tabs at the top, so you can have one tab, and then you can set your... But then you would need multiple function in that. You'd need to be able to click on the character and be able to open their mods so that you can change them and save them for each and every single tab. So it would be good, but it could get something like that could get quite expensive, especially if you're constantly changing your mods around. That would I think something like that would be good, and it would be useful, and some people would be using it all the time, and other people would be like, yeah, I can't use this, I don't have the credits to constantly chop and change all of my mods around. But there's definitely a good thing in there, especially if you're doing, if you've got a loadout for if you're trying to swap your mods around for 5 squads for your heroic Sith raid, and then you're trying to do everything for Territory Wars, and then so I could definitely see some practical application for a QOL like that.
The whole thing would be, oh no, they have to spend credits to do it, and they sell credits in the store. There you go. There's a moneymaker for Krakens that just want to buy credits to do whatever they want when they want.
Yeah, no, it's a sound idea. I like that one.
So number two is honestly probably number 1 on a lot of people's lists. Number 2 is the sandbox mode. And I've talked about my thoughts on how this can be perfectly implemented with the use of ally points. You spend your ally points to battle your allies who have set up, who you can battle their arena team, or you can you push on the ally, then you can choose their arena team. You could choose a set team that they put into ally battles. That's the name of this mode, ally battles, or a random list of teams that are using all of the character features and mods that your ally has, but it's a list. And CG would put it out, and they'd say, okay, you can do a random battle against a Darth Revan squad. You can do one against a JKR squad. You can do one against a Padme squad. They set up the squads, and you don't know what you're going to face. And that one could give you credits to move mods. Mm-hmm. That is, it's a money laundering way, in a way, to turn ally points into credits at a greatly reduced cost. But it would give us the ability to play with our toys, as it said.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think there's a single person out there that does not want a sandbox mode of some kind. Some way to theory craft with the characters they've got against makeups of teams that sometimes you just can't find in the squad arena, and sometimes you just can't find them in Galactic. Sometimes you just can't find them. It's like, I want to test this against Jawas. I want to test this against this. I want to test this against this. I was actually thinking about this after you sent this list to me. and it reminded me of a function in an old mobile game I used to play called On a Bound. And in the arena of the game On a Bound, you had a battle log. And that battle log was kept for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So you could literally go into this battle log and you could see the makeup of so many various different teams. And you could simply click on them for revenge. So you could choose. It didn't go towards anything because, rank-wise, you might be a million miles apart from each other. But it was a list of all the different types of teams that had ever fought you. And you could pick and choose which ones you wanted to fight. So, if you've been beaten by these various different teams, you had the opportunity to, test yourself against them with a different team. So it just, seeing that on your list made me instantly think of something like that. But we do need a sandbox mode, and it's just something that I think that CG will delay and delay and delay and delay and delay. Until they want to do it, not when we want it. They'll do it when they want to do it.
They say it'd be too hard, but it wouldn't be too hard if and I've said this, and maybe this is the reason that we're not getting them back on, is because EA's mad at me. I have put out the call for EA to fund Capital Games to where they can improve product in this game, one of them that makes them so much money. Mm-hmm. That's my take on it, and I stand by that. And if that gets me shunned from having them back on, then so be it. But I absolutely love the work that CG does, even though I may not agree with what they do. Mm-hmm. On to number one. And this is for every single officer that's ever led territory battles. And it's my number one. It may not be everyone's number one. And I'm sure that there's some specific people that are going to hate the fact that I say this. But territory battle combat information is my personal number one. Having to go into the list and see, okay, this person did 5 battles, but not knowing what those battles are is a major hindrance to not be able to go and say, hey, being able to DM one individual person and say, hey, I noticed you missed this. Can you knock out this battle as soon as you can? Instead, you're having to tag the entire guild saying, who didn't get their battles in? That is a pain in my ass. Mm-hmm. And, that's the number one quality of life change that I want to see. Now, that being said, who has deployed, who has not deployed, things like that. It would create so much harmony and so much and ease an officer's ability. Thank you, Capital Games, for giving us the list of characters that are in platoons. You listened to me on that, and I thank you for that. Now listen to me on this. You want to make a territory battle officer not want to quit the game? Allow us to see who is not doing their part so we can get a better guild and continue to drive and show you where we're going in this game when we actually have a good group of people around us.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good one. That is a very good one. I would add to that, it would give individual account holders and individual players the ability to also see exactly what they've done for every single battle and kind of like put together a CV. So let's say they're in a guild that, isn't kind of cutting the mustard as far as they're concerned, and they want to move to a better guild. They can compile all of their data from territory battles that says, hey, look, I'm number one at this, and this. Here's my data. Can I get into your guild? So, obviously there's a loyalty issue there, but if you're with a guild that's, if you're with a guild, if you've joined a guild and that guild is not allowing you to be all you can be. You can take the data from territory battles, put it onto a CV, and maybe get yourself into a better guild with higher scoring stars.
Okay, let's do this, McMull. God, I really want to just bring you on right now and debate you on this. You're asking in the listener lounge, correct me if I'm wrong, but can't you see who's participating in the territory battle? Can't you? Yeah, you can see who's doing stuff, but as it's only like the last 50 actions, and if somebody deploys one character and deploys one character and deploys one character and deploys one character and deploys one character, it can clear out that entire list. And you cannot go back and see who has done what. You cannot go back and see how many waves of the combat mission they've done. And then if you complete, if you complete to 3 stars, combat missions get locked down. So there's no way for somebody to go back in later and say, oh, I can't do that mission without them fessing up to it. No, you cannot, McMull. He's saying yes, you can, Paul.
Oh, right. So I didn't see that. I was still looking at I was just looking over your list and seeing if there was any other disagreement that I might have with any of your QOLs. But let's see. Yeah, okay. I'm in the listener lounge now. How far back do I need to scroll?
Oh, it's the stuff that's currently
yes,
going.
You can. Yes, you can. No, I don't get. Okay. 20 posts or so, Nev. Okay, look, I'll take the room's word for it. So,
You know what? Okay, fine. Nev, you said you're recording, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's do this. McMull, exit the room. Come back in. Let's have you on live. Let's see if he takes this. I'll be right back. Have to go. Okay, he's on the phone listening. All right, fine. And you know what? I'm going to bring up my territory battles as we're doing this right now.
Oh, fight.
Yeah.
Fight.
Hey.
Okay, I want a good clean fight, McMull. Port, I want a good clean fight. No slapping, no poking in the eyes, no fish hooking, no gouging. Statistics only, what you see in front of you on the screen in game only.
Yep. And I've already got it. Here. I'm waiting for him to come in. Once he gets back to his desk. It's this is live.
Okay,
you guys
look, this is live. So you explain your position again to the room, and then it's clear in my head, and obviously McMull is going to be coming on to offer a counter view to what you are saying is factually accurate of the game. So.
There is no counter view to this. I am saying that you cannot go back any farther. Like, I cannot personally go back right now farther than 8 hours and 36 minutes in the middle zone, in the top zone, in the ships. I cannot go back any further than 1 day and 1 hour. Mm-hmm. That's 1 day and 1 hour.
And
how long has
each phase is 1 day and 12 hours long? It's 36 hours long.
Right, and as we're recording this,
why are you using the scroll screen?
Okay.
Here he is. Let's keep it clean, guys.
All right, Paul. Sit back. Let me tell you how you can very easily see who is doing what in territory battle. Do me a favor. Go to your territory battle screen.
I live in the territory battle screen.
Okay.
You're in my zone right now.
All right. You see that top left button where it has like a number and it's like your rank on what you're doing?
Yep. I do.
Okay.
And I'm quite aware of this button.
So you tap on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see those stats and you like the territory points contributed. You tap on that, and oh my god, you can see all these different phases, these territory points, the GP deployed, the combat missions, special missions.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you can see who's doing what in every phase. So you can already track who's doing what.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can, Paul.
Okay. McMull, shut your mouth and sit down, because here we go. This is what happens. You complete to 3 stars atop. You like the ships, okay? No more can anybody do ships any farther unless you are there for each and every single one. If I do 5 missions of 6 possible missions, then what happens once the top locks? Statistically, unless I'm watching the scroll, I don't know which 5 missions I've done. Yes, I can go in and I can look, but if I've done a mission that didn't take all 50 combat missions to 3-star zone, then you don't know exactly who has done what.
I'm seeing.
Yeah, you can. No, because basically all you have to do is have people report what missions they've done.
That you're having people report. No, I am saying let me go get that information myself. God, I would love so. I have an entire room dedicated to people reporting. How many people in my guild report? 50%. So I have.
So what you're saying is you don't know how to check properly.
No, he's saying that he can't get all the data. He can get some of the data using the exact method that you've just stipulated, McMull, but he can't get all of the data once, what did you say, once the stars have been maxed out, unless you're actually physically monitoring the scroll.
I would love to give you, I could be real mean here, but I would love to give you access to my account. I would love to give you access to my account right now, McMull, and ask you to tell me who hasn't done the ship missions. And I would, if I could actually know who hasn't done the ship missions, and you were 100% correct, I would concede to you. But I know that there's no statistical ability to be able to do that.
Well, what do you think?
So what you can do is just not have people deploy their ships until people have done their combat. Like, wait for your guild to do their combat mission in the ships, and then people can deploy their whole.
And then you could do that. You could absolutely do that as far as the ships, but with as much trouble as a territory battle officer goes through to get them to even do ground missions or to hold on ground missions until the platoon bonuses are there. And I don't care, for as far as the listener lounge, I don't care if your guild does it a different way. That's how I do it. And that's what I'm saying. So anyway,
you're not doing the most efficient way, and you're complaining about it.
I am doing the most efficient way, because you don't need to hold back ships. You can deploy ships right away, and it takes the onus of having to wait.
Here's the thing, Paul.
Hang on. It takes the onus of having to wait for a bunch of people to do ship missions if you allow them to just deploy right away. Go ahead. What you got?
Have you tried locking it or doing it so that people have to do rogue actions in order to do the combat missions?
Still, it doesn't.
No, sir.
That is a legitimate point.
If you are not doing it, so people aren't doing it as rogue actions when they do the combat missions, that, sir, is your.
If you set it so that if you set it so that it was a rogue action, then you would be able to see that data.
That is how we do it in our guild. That's how I've seen multiple high-end guilds do it. If it's a rogue action when they do the combat mission, go, dude, you're kidding me. You say territory battles are your thing, and you don't know how you can look at rogue actions.
I know how to look at rogue actions. What I'm saying is, how is it any different from the combat mission count numbers? How is it any different? Unless you're saying that you're putting rogue actions only on a certain amount of those, and saying, okay, the bottom ones are the rogue actions, or the ships are the rogue actions. Unless you're doing that, how is it any different? How is it any different than the combat mission count? And then, how do you know which one? If there's two of them, how do you know which one of the two that is the one that they did?
That's a good point. Yeah, so it would just show it in general as a rogue action. It wouldn't show the individual actions that were rogue, would it? Would it, McMull?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you set the rogue actions, and if people aren't doing both rogue actions in a place where there's two combat missions for ships, then you know someone's not pulling their. It's an easy way to track things.
But would it show all of the statistics, exactly what it was that they did, or would it just show that that individual person has committed a rogue action? Because it's the statistics.
It only shows attempts.
Does it show a rogue action and the statistics, or does it just show that that person did a rogue action?
It would just show that they did a rogue action, like they would enter the battle.
And so you're kind of half right. Yes, Paul could do that, and he could get the statistics of the individual person, but it's not the statistics of the individual person that he's looking for. It's the overall statistics. So you're both right, and you're both wrong.
But then you go and cross-check it against the combat mission waves completed.
Okay, and then if two people have not done them in one area of ground combat missions, and three people haven't done them, three different people, how do you know which ones those people have not done? And then on top of that, when it's droids and not everyone in your team can go ahead and do droids, how do you know that they haven't done droids, or they haven't done the bottom because they're scared of Mace Windu and all they have left is Jango Fett?
That you have a point on.
Thank you. That is the point that I want. I want to be able to see the people that have done it. I want to see for that zone who has checked in. That's what I'm looking for.
Are we at an impasse, gentlemen, or can we say that Paul has?
I think Paul just needs to sit on his phone all day and just check it constantly.
I don't want to have to do that.
I think that's why he wants this QOL.
I think Paul just needs to go sit in the bathroom all day at work and just sit on his phone and check territory battles all day. This will fix the problem. I don't see what the problem is here.
I think that would fix the problem. Paul, would I mean, as opposed to QOL, would you prefer? I mean, a lot of people have been saying data dump. Would it make it easier if the data was just dumped for the guild? All of the guild data for that territory battle was dumped on GG, so that you could look at it there.
I would be fine with that, but I would rather that it be real time, so I can privately talk to a certain person instead of tagging an entire guild because I can't figure out who it is.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I would love to argue or agree, but territory battles is not my shtick. It is yours and McMull's shtick, and I'm just the referee here.
Yeah, one thing I would recommend for you, Paul, to help make it easier on yourself is I'm sure you have other officers who are helping you manage all this.
Sure, we could say that, and I do have a good team around me. But I do like to get my hands in the nitty gritty of territory battles. I love spreadsheets, and I eat floating pivot tables for breakfast. Okay.
Yeah, one thing I recommend is obviously get a team behind you, but also start doing something where people have to report in the results.
I do.
Screenshots, whatever. Like, make it easier on yourself to help track things, so you can keep a list. And after every report, you have your spreadsheet. You fill out who did what in each phase, if they complete the missions or not, how many waves they completed. But I mean, also at the end of the day, and just look at the combat missions, look at the combat waves that every person has completed, and figure out from there who's slacking. I can see in my guild right now, I have 3 people who haven't done 10 combat missions yet.
Yeah, but you don't know which combat missions they were. By the way, I just posted in the listener lounge an example of my reporting screen. Just so you know and not what other people know. A few of the listeners have seen this before because some of them are from my guild, but nonetheless, there's a little way to report.
Is that 7 people who failed the Watt mission?
That is, let me take a look. That is 7 people who failed the Watt mission. 11 people passed it, and 6 could not access it.
I know 13 people you should automatically move out of your guild. Just saying.
I can't do the Watt mission yet. I'm still stuck on 4 of 4.
Sorry, Nev. It's been nice knowing you.
So I would just be booted, would I? Unceremoniously kicked out because I can't do 4
This is why I'm not in charge of guild. Yeah, I tell you what, if there's any clones in this Light Side Geonosian territory battle, I'm going to become like the most anal retentive person you'll ever. I'll be like daily tracking everyone's shard.
I would like to see that action. I'd love to see you in live action for the light side GOTB. Because
I would be sitting on the bathroom. I would be sitting on the toilet all day and at work, just like tracking everyone, make sure everybody's doing their special mission.
Well, the thing is, you can do GAC live, you can do Squad Arena live, you can do Fleet Arena live. But because territory battles and territory wars take so long to do, nobody's got the... Sorry, I was just laughing at Chancellor Goobertine. But yeah, no, I think it would be amusing to see. It would be amusing to see you as, the glorious leader of a guild. In the final hours of a phase of a territory battle, just yammering away at everybody. Don't you think? I think that would be great content. The last 2 hours, getting people to do what you want, or it's out of the guild.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
It's so difficult to I believe in the people that we've surrounded ourselves with. I am very proud of our guild. We are on our way to hitting every single star that we statistically can get this time around. And I'm very proud of them for putting the effort in. And those people are my family, and it's kind of like the clones. We all come from the same family.
You just said that to get my approval.
I did.
Bring it in the clones.
I did.
I appreciate the thought.
McMull, I'm going to hang up on you right now.
I'm gonna go back to trolling Twitter with fake screenshot leaks and stuff.
We've seen those. We don't even have time to get into that because I'm damn show under 2 hours.
I think I'm just gonna do a video just like rating all the different fake leaks for General Anakin.
Yeah,
and the first one I tweeted out is just gonna get a gold star because I thought saying leak and quotes was gonna be enough to like indicate that I thought that was fake. Apparently, a lot of people thought I was being serious and went to go gear up there.
Please throw a montage of Trump saying fake news over and over again. That would be funny.
There's one guy who was like mad at me now because he Zeta'd his Qui-Gon Jinn because he believed that screen.
Yeah.
All right. Since you ceremoniously showed up on this episode because I needed to pull you in to shake you and tell you where you were going wrong, which if everybody noticed. He said, okay, you do have a point. So I did get my point across, which I'm glad. And yes, I do like your idea of the rogue actions. I will concede to that, but I also use rogue actions for my officers to count certain things. So I use it another way. But nonetheless, McMull, since you were thrown into the mix here, can you go ahead and tell Nev to do the thing that we do at the end of every show for me?
Push it real good.
Ooh, you've got it, mate. Ta-ta for now, folks.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it?
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.